Shalom, Akim, Yabatazah. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Shemal Shai. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to you brothers out there doing the work in sincerity and truth, striving for the hopeful elect, enduring all afflictions and seeking out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Yahweh Shemal Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, Barakatam Akim. I just want to come back with another video going into this whole everything that's going on with Iran and the United States, and just basically just speaking to brothers and not warning but exhorting, bringing things into remembrance and being mindful of getting that we're that much closer to the two main prophecies being fulfilled, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, and the Third World War, which ultimately is going to lead the return of Yahweh Shai, and other various other prophecies. The elect are being sealed up in the midst of all this that's going on right now. The gospel is being preached, a new song, and you're having scoffers and mockers, which is part of the prophecy. You're having individuals that are falling out. That's part of the prophecy. They're bucking up against those that they once knew and betraying one another, and eventually it's just going to get worse, worse and worse until it gets better, and we have to remain, faithful unto the end, okay, because Yahweh Bashmel Shai, he told us these days were going to come. And I want to start off with 2nd Esdras 9:1. He says, "And he answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Okay, so we're seeing all these different prophecies that have been fulfilled. Even when we go back into history, there was prophecies that were spoken, hundreds or thousands of years prior to Alexander the Greek's. Alexander the Greek, or not thousands or hundreds, because Daniel is the one that prophesied of Alexander the Greek coming, and in the Medo-Persian Empire, in the Roman Empire. So those things have come to pass. So we know that those, came and gone, and now we're in the future, and where John the Revelator has revealed through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shai that we would be in the last days amongst a kingdom that was similar to those, the Romans, the Roman Empire, the Babylonian Empire, spiritually Sodom in Egypt. So now all we're supposed to do is measure the time diligently itself and be prepared. Okay, and it says here, and so like here, I keep Romans 13:11, "And that knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light." Okay, and when you put on the armor of light, you're diligently measuring the time in itself. Okay, because if you're asleep, how are you going to be doing any kind of work? You're not going to be doing any kind of work. You're going to be doing, foolish things. You're going to be, doing things of the world. You're not going to be focused, and you're not going to be occupied in prophecy. Okay, that's part of being diligent in measuring the time. Okay, this is in the book of Matthew 24:32. "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled." Okay, so it's at the doors, man. It's very near. Okay, and we all know when summer or spring is about to come by observing the trees. They start blooming, budding out, lush green leaves. They're no longer faded, and it just starts filling the tree back up with greenery, the leaves, and bearing fruit, in the weather. The temperature picks up, So that's how we know. And these things are escalating more and more to that day of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's return and the downfall of this kingdom known as America, you know. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. But, you know, of course, Esau and him and his, you know, his titles and his whole agenda is that it's not to be spoken of, and it's you're a terrorist, this, that, and the third. But, you know, anything that is contrary to anything that is good is deemed, you know, bad according to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, or an abomination, and that has to be destroyed. Okay. And I understand that, you know, people don't like to hear about destruction, death, and, you know, being singled out and hated. But hey, that's the way, you know, even in Esau's system, you know, criminal system, you know, you have your criminals that are segregated. They're, you know, punished. You know, they're taken away from society, and when they're brought back into society, you know, to the general public, after they serve their time, they're in a, you know, in a messed up situation. They can't get hired anywhere, you know. They're institutionalized. They all they know is to be criminals, and you know. So, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, at least he's gonna do it for the good. You know, everything's gonna be made right once and for all. Okay. So it says 2 Esdras 9:3. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and that's what we're seeing everywhere. In every part of the world, there's uproars of the people. There's earthquakes, there's fires. Look at what's going on in Australia. You know, all those different types of animals are being killed. You know, they're dying. But this is all part of prophecy. You know, this is us measuring the time diligently in itself, and we know that we're getting that much closer. You know, when everything starts really, you know, hitting the fan and shit, and nobody knows what to do, and they ain't getting no answers. There ain't gonna be no more of these goddamn celebrities telling people to send in money, donations, to help the people of Australia, help the people of Hawaii, or help the people of Mexico, Haiti. You know, there ain't gonna be none of that. You know, it's gonna be just mass destruction going on. You know, this is in the book of Joel, chapter 1, verse 17. The seed is rotten under their clods, and garners are laid waste or desolate. The barns are broken down, for the corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of the cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of the sheep are made desolate. O Lord Yahweh, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire had devoured the pastures of the wilderness. So we know that that's part of prophecy. That's what's going to be happening in the last days, man. You know, there's nothing new underneath the sun. It's happening in their time. It's going to happen in this time until Yahushua returns. You know, this is Jeremiah 12, and I'll start at verse 1. Righteous art thou, O Yahweh, when I plead with thee. Yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore do the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Thou hast planted them, yea, they have taken root. They grow, yea, they bring forth fruit. They are near in their mouth, and far from their reins. Thou art near in their mouth, and far from their reins. But thou, O Yahweh, knowest me. Thou hast seen me, and tried mine heart toward thee. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter, and prepare them for the day of slaughter. And that's what we're praying for. That's what we're hoping for. These wicked 2/3, these heathens. You know, the scriptures say the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for the moment. So the Most High has allowed favor to be shown unto the wicked. Okay, but in the land of uprightness, he will not do right. So he's not going to go into the kingdom. He has this temporary time here on the earth. But after that, he's going to be cast down, stripped away of all his goods, and destroyed. Jeremiah 12:4. How long shall the land mourn, and the herbs of every field wither? For the wickedness of them that dwell therein. The beasts are consumed, and the birds, because they said, He shall not see our last end. Okay? So this is all prophecy. This is everything that's going on, man, in the earth. These different attitudes, these different spirits. Okay? The uproars of the people, the earthquakes, the famines, the insurrections, you know, the fires, the pollution, you know, murder. Everything is happening according to prophecy. You know, this is in the book of Hosea chapter 4:1. Hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of the Most High in the land. But swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Okay? So everything is being properly done and fulfilled and coming into its fruition by way of prophecy because of wickedness. You know, everything that's going on between America and Iran, that's prophecy. Okay? Let's go into it. This is in the book of Matthew 24:3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? Right? The end of an age. When you go into that world, it goes back to the word eon. Okay? It says, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Yahushua, or the anointed Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Okay? Now, you know, we're not really hearing, I mean, it could be rumors, but, you know, everybody has access to the other side of the world. You know, we have the internet, so everybody's viewing and seeing these things being played out. Okay? You know, when it comes to, you know, yeah, it's a rumor. It also falls into, you know, what is the word? Assuming, you know, it's a potential act of war. It is an act of war, but is it gonna go all full out, you know, a war? You know, but only Yahweh Shai knows when it's gonna be that time. But we know that it's at the it's right there, you know, and we all know if anybody touches, you know, our home, or, you know, it's a consistent attack, you know, a constant nuisance. What do you think you're gonna end up doing? You're gonna end up attacking, you know. But, you know, we nowadays, Esau has put it into the minds of the people about retaliation, and, you know, it put a sense of you know, a fear in people's hearts where you can't retaliate because you'll be faced with criminal, you know, criminal charges and things of that nature for defending yourself. So it's like, well, what the hell do I do? You know. But really, the Most High, He has it set up to where eventually it's gonna be this way. It ain't gonna be no more asking questions. There ain't gonna be no more thinking about, well, what if this happens, or what if that happens. It's gonna be, people are gonna get tired of it. Just like Iran, they're gonna get tired of it to where in Russia and all those other nations, they're gonna get tired of it to where they're just say fuck it. But it's gonna be by way of the Spirit of Yahweh Shai Shai that allows that to happen. Okay. So we know these things are coming to pass. So like it says, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. You see? So that's where we have to wait, and we have to watch, keep watching. Salaki, bros, give me 1 second. Right, you got to keep watching. So it says in Matthew 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing all these kingdoms rising up, you know, threatening one another. You know, really, you know, they have all this paperwork, all these little peace treaties and stuff like that. But people, they know it's just a damn paper that's signed really in their heart. They don't give a shit. They really don't like each other. They're sick and tired of going to these meetings, you know. And you can see it just, at your job. You can see it with, in lower ranking companies and stuff like that. So you can imagine what's going on in those higher ups, it's old, it's people are looking for something new, and the new thing is Yahweh Shai. That's the new thing. The new thing is going to be Yahweh Shai's return. He's going to make things the way life was supposed to be. And it's going to be all because of Israel. All because of the Hebrew Israelites, the covenant that he made with them, And that's what we want, We don't want to be, we need days that are longer, that are stretched out, not just lasting for like 6 hours. You have a 24-hour period in one day. It's less than that. We don't have no time to do anything. Everything's rushed. Everybody's rushed. There's no true satisfaction. There's no life here. It's just straight oppression, straight vexation. That's all it is. And we need these things to happen, especially the elect. The elect are hastening the day of Yahweh Shai. The elect are praying and hoping for these things to come to pass. But in the midst of that time, what are they doing? They're doing what Yahweh Shai told them to do. Be righteous. Be forgiving. Be a brother. Preach the gospel. Because it all starts with you first. You can't just be a wicked ass nigga and go out there and start preaching. You gotta repent. You gotta be a broken, contrite spirit. You gotta know that you ain't nothing. You gotta know that it's all for Yahweh Shai. You gotta know that in the midst of all that, you doing it, that there's a possibility that you can be rewarded. But because you do it doesn't mean that you're gonna be rewarded. Because we know that the scriptures say that many are going to say, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in thy name, we cast out devils, we healed the sick. And the Lord's going to tell them, depart from me, you wicked, you worker of iniquity, for I never knew thee. So, that's a whole nother thing, but, that's something that we all have to take in consideration too, not just hoping and, the day of the Lord come now, and then are you even ready? Are we even ready? So Matthew 24 and 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Like I read there in 2 Esdras 9 and 3, right? So that's the upwards of the people in the world, the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, whether it be individual people, or, groups of people, or actually governments against each other, nations. All these things are going on right now as we speak, as I'm speaking. Okay. Matthew 24 and 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. These are because why is it beginning of sorrow? Because people are starting to realize and see that their lives hang in doubt. Everyone's lives are hanging in doubt. No matter how hard a 2/3 here in America tries to ignore it and tries to block it out of their mind, they know there's a big possibility something's gonna happen. They just keep denying it. They keep forcing it down. You got a bunch of people that do podcasts on the internet, and they're talking about it. They're they could be a comedian, and their whole podcast is just talking shit and talking about all the things that make them happy. And, but then now that this happened, they're actually asking questions. Can we really, are we in a bad situation? Is there a possibility that we could enter into World War III? Yes. The answer is yes. We're already in it. It just hasn't been, it's not a full blown out war. Okay. But the hatred is there. The insurrections, the uproars. Like it says, kingdom against kingdom. They're not standing with each other. Else none of this stuff would be going on. And it says, I'm going to jump back to 2 Esdras 9:4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Because it's always been declared, it's always been said, the things that are going to happen to the wicked, to the ungodly. Okay, that there's another kingdom's going to come, a kingdom that's flowing with milk and honey. Okay, it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Okay, and we know who the end of the world is Esau, and the beginning of the thing that followeth is Jacob, which is Israel. Whether you want to believe it or not, the end of the world, the end of an age, is the end of Esau's rulership, the so-called white man's rulership. That's the truth. Just like you had all the other nations that ever ruled. The Egyptians ruled for a long period of time. Right, the Canaanites, the Hamites, they ruled for a very long period of time. The Philistines, Then you had the Assyrians, which is known as the Babylonians. Then you had the Medo-Persian Empire, which are the Medes, which in the land of Iran, okay, which are the Elamites, and then you have the Greeks. All right, which is Alexander the Greek. His father was the name King Philip, okay, the Macedonian. And then after that you had the Romans. Okay, so all these different nations, they had their time of standing. You even had the dynasty of the different in China. Their kingdoms reigned for a long period of time. But Moab, and all these different nations, they took part in afflicting Israel. The Ishmaelites, the Elamites, the Assyrians, that were Asher, Ashur, and he had all these nations that afflicted Israel. So they're all gonna pay. They're all gonna be destroyed. All right, verse 6. Even so, the time also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And we're seeing that. We're seeing the effects and signs in the earth and in the heavens. Chariots are being shown. The moon, the sun is going through many different cycles of declaring warnings, because that's what those things are for. They're instruments of telling the times. The moon and the sun. Let me get this one in the book of Sirach. This is in the book of Sirach 43:6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. You see, so the moon is actually an instrument on how to measure the times, okay, on how to declare what is coming. And of course you got Genesis chapter 1 as well, and it goes into declaring that as well. Okay, so it goes 2 Esdras 9:9. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. You see, that's why Yahweh said this in Matthew 24:9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Okay, so the ones that are going to be delivered up and afflicted and shall kill you and be hated of all nations, because you are a man of the Lord, you are a follower of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? But many shall be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. Okay, and that's going into those that are going to ultimately it's going to go into betrayal. They don't care about you, They're going to be in the pitiful case because why? They abuse his ways. They didn't want to take heed to the warning, to the sound of the trumpet. Okay? And this is a real thing that's going to come to pass. Let's go over here. Luke. Let's see. Luke 21 and 16. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but there shall not an hair of your head perish, and your patience possess ye your souls. Okay? And that's what's that's what's gonna happen, man. And these betrayers, these scoffers, these mockers, they're gonna be in a pitiful case, which have now abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. And even those that have tasted the heavenly gift of Yahweh Bashemel Shai, they're gonna be in this pitiful case as well. Right? Let's see. This is in the book of Hebrews 10 and 26. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sore punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who had trodden under foot the Son of the Most High, and had counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and had done despite unto the Spirit of grace? For we know him that has said, Vengeance belongeth unto me, and I will recompense, saith Yahweh Shai. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. See? And that's what's coming. You know, that's what's coming to those that have despised the Lord's word. You know, they didn't want to take heed. We're living in these times, man. Everything is coming to its fruition in every aspect. You know, this is Hebrews 6 and verse 3. And this will we do if God permit, for it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift, and were made partakers of the Holy Spirit, and have tasted the good word of the Most High and the powers of the world to come, if they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucified to themselves the Son of the Most High afresh, and put him to an open shame. Okay, it is impossible. Okay, why? Because they despise this word. You know, so they're gonna resort to betrayal, you know, to doing the things that are that Yahweh Shai has warned us of, man. Okay, it says in verse 10, for such in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Okay, and they that had loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Therefore shall thy not, verse 12, Salaki, and the same must know it after death by pain. Okay. Let's go over here. See. Let's start right here. 2nd Ezra 6 and 15. And therefore, when it speaketh, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. Okay, so it's understood, and by the elect understand. Okay, because we know that the word is speaking of the end. Right now, what's being spoken is it declaring the end. get the script real quick. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. And the word vision there is prophecy. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And it's not tarrying, it's just constantly increasing. Verse 16. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. And then we know that these things have to be changed, man. A change is coming. Okay, the transition of kingdoms, all right, it's going to transition from wickedness to righteousness. All right, that's what's coming. And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. And that's Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is making these things come to, or he's allowing, or he's increasing these things to happen in the earth at a rapid rate than ever before, because it's part of the birth pangs. You know, your woman is pregnant. When she gets closer to her due date, the contractions begin. But as you know, the contractions are going to happen. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's the baby's ready to come out, because you have a process. You got to wait for the water break, and then that's where you really need to go. But when speaking on the contractions will begin to increase heavily. There's going to be little increments in between the contractions on how to determine by you measuring the time. That's how a woman or a man, a couple would measure by the increments and the length between the contractions. Okay, the closer they are together, the closer the baby's ready to come. Okay, and that's why it goes back into 2nd Esdras 9. It says, measure the time diligently in itself. So coming back to 2nd Esdras 6 and verse 19. And I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness. And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. And that's what's happening. America's vanishing away. Esau's lost his power. Okay, in Iran, Russia, all those other kingdoms are not going to reign like they think they are. China as well. Then will I show these tokens. See, he's showing the tokens to us, man. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether. And who's seeing altogether? The elect. Okay, we're the only ones that are seeing eye to eye. Eventually, everybody else is going to see, but it's going to be a time that is too late for them. Okay, it's going to be in the time of them being in the destroyed by way of nuclear fire. And on the other side of the world, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, they're going to be destroyed by way of Yahweh Shai and the chariots. Okay. This is Romans 15. And 15 and 5. Now the God of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another, according to Yahushua Mashiach, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High, even the Father, as of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Okay, so we're going to be of one mind, one accord, like-minded, all right, and with one mouth speaking one thing. All right, and it said here, we shall see eye to eye. And you get this other one. Let's see. Oh, well, it should be in the book of Isaiah. Oh, well, then I can find it. If not, Jeremiah then. Salakia, brothers. I haven't brought this script out in a long time, but I know it's here somewhere. Let's see. Nope, I'm not able to find it. Let's see. Oh, Khan, this is Isaiah 52:8. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when Yahweh shall bring again Zion. You see, so going back to um 20, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament. And how is that? By way of us, like ultimately Yahweh Shai unsealing the mystery of the gospel and revealing it unto the his prophets. Now they're declaring it before the firmament, the heavens, because we know heavens is the Lord's throne and the earth is his footstool, and they shall see all together, right? So we're all seeing it and agreeing, walking hand in hand, you know. And it says again, Isaiah 52:8, thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. 2 Esdras 6:21, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. Okay. And it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's what's going to happen here in America, like what's going on in Venezuela, there in South America. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid. At the time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these things I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation and the end of your world. See, whose world? Esau, the current ruling nation, is going to be brought down. So everything that's being spoken of in with the that's going on with the Iranians and stuff like that, that's prophecy. Let me see. This is Ezekiel 38. And 2, son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, and the chief prince of the Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, right? Which is in the land of where Russia is currently today, which are the Edomites residing there. Okay, it says, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, and all them that clothe with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Okay, so it's bringing them back to that superpower as far as their military might, the Russians. Because during back in the they were known as the USSR. That was one part. They were in a very great, powerful state at that time, when they were known as the USSR. But then there was a fall. They had fell and basically went into like hibernation in a sleeping state. It says in verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. And Persia is the Iranians. Okay. So this is prophecy. So there's no coincidence that Russia and Iran, they're in an agreement with one another. They're backing each other up. Okay. A lot of their jets and their certain weaponry that they have is from the Russians. And it says Ethiopia and Libya, which are the Africans, which also there in that land in Egypt, you see a lot of different it could be Iranians, it could be, there's a lot of those people that are right there, Arabians, Ishmaelites and stuff like that. It's not the real Africans that are in that land anymore. Okay, because we know that Esau went up in there. You know, Ishmael was there. You know, it says all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, Togarmah, Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia's gonna back up these nations that are allegiance with them. Okay, and that's what's going on right now. All right. And it says in 2 Ezra 6 and 25, whosoever remaineth for all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So the elect, the ones that have the privilege to see this whole thing play out to the very end, are going to see the end of this man's rulership. They're going to see his downfall. They're going to see America destroyed. They're going to see what happens on the other side over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay? Because after all these nations that are mentioned, you know, China's going to be involved, Venezuela, you got Cuba, you got all these different nations that are going to attack America. And that's, everybody knows that. Look what happened during the time of Pearl Harbor with Japan. Japan attacked, it was Hawaii, but that's considered part of America's, territory. They didn't necessarily attack America, but, that's how it seemed. And then America retaliated and dropped the atomic bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, So people know America can be touched. It's no unknown thing or a forbidden thing to speak of. All right. You got military weapons that can be shot from, thousands and thousands of miles away from one end of the earth, and the scriptures talk about that. Okay, matter of fact, let me bring it. The scriptures are a defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got nothing to hide or worry about, because this is the Lord. The Lord is tells us, man. Speak my word, and I shall fight for you. Basically, strive for the truth till death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. So when we speak this word, this is the Lord's word. Why would He allow us to be, what's the word? Why would He abandon us if we're speaking, man? We're putting our life on the line. All we have to do is remain faithful, obey the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. Hope that we're the elect, and the Lord's going to do the rest. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. And all that is over there in that other part of the world, man. There are all these different nations that are going to be destroyed. It says, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair, but bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. They're not going to be sorry, But that's what the Lord's telling you. Hey, man, you better sit your ass down and be sorry. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it had begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh in the foundations thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. They shall begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. You see? So you can't do nothing about it. It's prophecy. Okay? And Ezekiel 38 goes into that. As a matter of fact, let me see where it says. Right here, Ezekiel 38 and 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. Right? Because America has no walls. It's not like in the ancient times. You know? It says, I will go into the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle, goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. Okay, so it's gonna happen. We're that much closer. So brothers, be not troubled, like the scriptures say. Be not troubled in spirit. We know these things are coming. But the end is not yet. So with that, hope it was edifying. Shalom.